So I'm at Miami Homestead Speedway. Again, we are going to race a second race weekend. The first time I did get a podium here, but I was really lucky on that weekend because of a crash that happened in the race. This time, I want to see if I'm able to actually get a podium by merit, not by luck. I'm facing the biggest challenge in my real-life racing career. As a sim racer who started transitioning to real-life racing last year, my biggest problem is close and aggressive racing. I'm just afraid of sending it more, making more aggressive moves, taking higher risks. I can easily say this is what makes me feel almost like an imposter, like I don't deserve to be here racing in real life. I don't want to play the underdog here. I believe I'm doing well for someone who's racing in real life for just over a year. But I'm always missing that 1% just because I'm being too conservative. I'm not racing my own cars. They're ultra expensive and everything, including my own life, is at risk at most times. Here's where I think having karting experience would be an advantage compared to only sim racing. The spatial awareness you develop in karting with so much wheel-to-wheel racing at high speeds, close to the ground with a lot of physical effort is superior to the one you develop in sim racing. The biggest challenge to me is being able to connect a number of factors together to make my racecraft fully work in real life. The ability to understand basic racecraft skills like lines and compromises, drafting, braking offline, leaving space, planning your pass in advance. 2. Ability to feel the G-forces and deal with the intense physical activity while driving on the limit, dealing with fatigue, heat, etc. And 3. The ability to understand the stakes and risks of making aggressive moves that could lead to a crash if done wrong. When sim racing, all you need is the first factor and a little bit of the third one. In real life, all three are maxed out, and it's a lot more intense than you can imagine, no matter how I describe it here. Alright, so here is my qualifying lap that put me on podium. It could have been better, but at least the mindset of sending it was there. I did not have the GoPro helmet camera, so we're gonna have to use this one. A little bit vibrating, but it's pretty cool. So right now, braking into the turn one, a little bit too deep, locked up the rear, almost spun there. I actually did spin the lap after that, and then really sending here, trying to make like some micro corrections on oversteer. Same thing here, the car is quite loose, a little puddle of water there, kind of afraid of hitting that and losing the car. Braking as late as I could here without locking the front tires. Kind of missed the apex just a tiny bit because of oversteer actually, so it's not necessarily a bad thing. I was really sending it. I was proud that I was really hustling the car at all stages of these low speed corners, which means my confidence is, at least on these corners, it's kind of going up. And then we go for the next corner, same thing, just braking as late as I could and trying to get the best exit. And then here comes the most difficult corner for me. Ideally, you want to do it with 3 or 4 lights on the RPM for the right speed. So as you can see here, I actually have only 1 light, which means I'm slower than the ideal speed. I was always losing 4/10 there, and then braking super late for this left-hander, and then downshift to second and trying to carry as much speed on this last chicane and getting a good exit, but kind of lost the car a little bit. I ended up hitting the cone with the rear tire, but yeah, that was pretty much on the limit. I'm glad that was not a wall. The lap time was 0.8 slower than the pole time. And then right after I did that lap, I was trying to push a little bit further, but I ended up doing this. What happened there is I braked at the same place, but I ended up braking a little bit less initially, and I carried way too much speed. Instinctively braked a little bit more while starting to turn, which locked up the inside left rear, and I instantly spun. There was no way I was saving that. So as always, on the beginning of the weekend, I was really underdriving the car. We have new tires with a lot less grip, and one of my competitors, Alex, he just watched my onboard and said, dude, you just need to send it more. Like, everything he was doing is like textbook perfect, but you're just not sending the car to past that limit to feel the car more and just stay there. If qualifying taught me one thing, it was that if I push harder, even if it means making more mistakes, I will gain confidence and improve my mentality as a real-life race car driver. Now the question is, am I gonna be able to overcome the fear and be more aggressive? Or will I lift and lose opportunities? That's my goal for this weekend, to push harder and get this podium. Let's go. This is race 1, starting P3. All I want is to be confident and to actually fight for position, because I know the mental side is going to be my biggest challenge. The track is dry, but it had rained a little bit before, so I was afraid of not having the grip I expected. So I was a little bit careful here. on the inside, and even though I thought I was slower, I was actually losing the car, so I was on the limit of grip here. Same thing turning into this corner, ended up just understeering, not having the grip I wanted with cold tires, and then same thing here. Could not get the power down on the exit of this corner, and now P4 is faster than me. I defend a little bit, but then I don't defend all the way. I do the half defending that I talk so much about, and he actually went all the way to the inside and did a slight dive bomb, so he went for the position and ended up claiming P3 at the very beginning. I really felt like regret, but I honestly did not expect him to do this move, so it was a lesson learned for me to be a little bit more aggressive when defending. And then here, while braking, I realized I didn't brake enough and I almost hit him wheel to wheel. That was gonna be nasty, but fortunately I was able to avoid that by being very patient, not locking the front tires and going as much as possible to the right. Yeah, that was a very close one. And then now all I want to do is to keep up with P1, 2, and 3 and see if I can get a podium. I know that P1 and 2 are super fast and I'm not getting the best exits. I'm trying my best to get the exits, but I realized that everyone is having much better exits than me. No matter what I try, I'm just gonna keep experimenting. I'm just gonna keep trying to keep up with the pack and see if I can conquer this podium. This is not my first time here. I need to deliver. I need to show them that I can drive well, that I can be competitive. So this is the mental side. This is all what it's about right now. It's about performing well, not making too many mistakes, getting the best exits I can. At this point, I know that P3 is gonna make a pass on P2 because he is way quicker, and my fight will be for P3. So I'm just waiting for them to fight so I can get closer and see if I can claim that third place. And I know it's gonna be a long race, so I just want to kind of warm up the tires and feel and just stay with him. I know I will not be able to catch P1 and 2 in this race because they're on average 7 to 8 tenths quicker per lap. So I know this is my chance to fight for P3, but still just not being aggressive enough, just being patient, thinking, oh, it's a long race, we gotta take care of the tires, which at the moment seemed logical, seemed like the right choice. But I would actually regret these decisions to back off on the best opportunities I had to overtake. So sprint racing is different to endurance racing. It's not about having the pace and then making passes when you realize it's going to be best for both. You have to make passes as soon as you find the opportunity, because if you don't use that, you might not get any opportunity towards the end of the race. So all I need to do here is be as close as possible, wait for him to make a mistake, or just actively go there and get it, you know? And this is my challenge. This is what I failed to do that while driving. I'm here right now in my studio recording this for you guys, and it seems easy. But when you're there, it's not that easy. You have to be in the right mental space. You have to take the right decisions that are not gonna be too risky. So I can be close to him, but to make the actual pass is a huge challenge on this track, especially because I am not capable of getting good exits for some reason. It might be the car setup. It might be the way I was treating the tires during the practice, since we used the same set of tires for the entire weekend. I don't know why. I know that I'm not able to get these exits no matter how I try to open up the entry, no matter how I position my MRP in a way that I just point the car perfectly for an exit. I still don't feel that exit speed allowing me to prepare an overtake in the next corner, for example, just because the exit speed is not there. So halfway through the race, I was losing sight of P3, so he was faster than me, and I was trying my best to catch him back up to see if I could fight for the podium at the end of this race. So I started forcing the car more and more, which actually made me lose some more apexes. I was just trying whatever I could to see if I could find time at the lower speed corners. And then with a few laps to go, he made a big mistake. Probably lost more than a second there, which allowed me to catch up a little bit, so I had one more chance to get this podium in this race. So here it is. Last lap. Let's end it. Let's see what we can do. Carrying as much speed as possible into turn 2, braking a little bit later than him, gaining a little bit more space. Now focusing on the best exit possible to see if I can try something at this chicane here. He understeered a little bit, so I tried to go to the left to prevent him from getting a good exit, but he kind of blocks me a little bit, and then he pretty much parks at the apex deliberately to prevent me from getting a good exit. I really did not like that. Basically what he did was get back on power and then lift on purpose to prevent me from doing an over-under, which pretty much destroyed my best chance to fight for the podium on this last lap. Of course, I kept trying, but right now we only have one low-speed corner and then the fast last sector where it's very difficult to make an overtake. Let's try something, I don't know. As always, just not having that rear grip for the exit and really just looking at their car disappearing on the corner exit. But I won't give up. Maybe he makes a mistake. I don't know. Let's go. Let's go. We just have one more sector. Yeah. At the end, you can see me trying harder, but I just regret not driving that aggressively since lap 1. This is what I need to develop on my mental side. I just need to be more aggressive on average, you know, more aggressive on lap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until the end, instead of just trying harder on the last lap when it's too late. You know, being so close to that podium hurts. I just lost so many small opportunities to make a pass, ones that I know I could have done, but I just didn't send it. I don't know, it just feels like the fear of making a mistake is much higher than the will to take the risk, and I need to develop that. So how can I make race 2 different? What do I have to do to reach that podium this time? I don't want to fail again. So let's do this. So here's what happened on race 2. I was telling myself I am going to be more aggressive. I'm going to be more aggressive. But as soon as the race starts, something is going on in my mind and I end up not being aggressive enough where I need to. I tried to stay here on the outside, fighting a little bit on the lower speed to keep that P3, but I ended up going on the place of the track. There's a lot less grip and then carry a little bit too much speed into this corner, kind of lost the car and the position, so I'm back to P4. And then I tried to get a good exit here, but somehow, same thing, just try to get back on power and there's no grip and I see their cars just disappearing on corner exit. And then P5 is much quicker here. I know P5 is a faster driver, so I'm gonna let him pass and see if I can catch up the pack, because I know he's gonna pass the other drivers as well. So I'm just trying to stick with him, get the reference, seeing what he's doing, and trying to find that pace and fight for the podium again. This time we're gonna try to be more aggressive. I know I'm thinking about the future, but not actually doing it right now. I need to be aggressive right now, and that is my problem. So let's keep trying to send the car as much as we can, getting the best exits possible, not lifting too much on the faster corners, and trying to be on the limit for as long as we can non-stop. You see, the chances are there. P2 and 3 are fighting. P4 is just waiting a little bit. I know I can use these opportunities of them just slowing each other down and try to pass them. Let's try to be as close as possible and use the first opportunity that shows up. So the pattern is, on these slow corners, I'm able to catch up a lot under braking and mid corner, but then as soon as I get back on power, I just feel that I have a lot less rear grip. Same thing here, you can see me just getting super close and then even having extra grip to bring the car more to the left than them, and then preparing a better exit, quote unquote, but then getting back on power and just not feeling that exit, not feeling that power. And I don't know, I might be doing something wrong. I'm gonna keep trying. I saw them always fighting for position on this first hairpin, but I was just never able to get a good exit from the first sector to prepare an overtake of that corner. And I know that is one of the most interesting places to overtake, but I never really got a chance to do it there. And that's why it's so important to install that sprint racing mindset, to not waste any opportunity, be it on race starts or when someone makes a mistake. Even if it's in a weird place, you have to go for it, because otherwise there's a big chance you won't have that opportunity anymore. And here, my friends, is the best example of how to not use opportunities. They're fighting hard for that hairpin and I'm on the outside, so I can prepare the best exit possible. But as always, I was just afraid of causing a crash or something, so I lifted before the corner and lost my opportunity again. And here, exactly the same thing. I got a good run. This is an easy pass if I just get the draft and go to the left. The first corner is easy, it's just flat, so I can just stay on the inside for the next left-hander. But as soon as I got on the inside here, I was just afraid of going on the painted curb here, and I just lifted, but I just didn't want to take the risk because the mental side is not ready, and I know that I'm doing it. At the same time, I'm observing my behavior and saying, Suelio, this is not right. This is an easy pass. You should have done it. Why? Why don't I do it? And that is what I want to develop in the mental side of my racing technique. This is pretty much what has been in my head for the entirety of the race. And towards the end, I just keep thinking, it's getting too late, it's getting too late. The race is gonna end and you're gonna lose one more podium. Oh, wait. No, this might be our chance. We are now fighting for P3 again. We have a few laps left. Let's try again. Let's try to change the mindset. I'm gonna send it as much as I can. Let's go against it. Let's fight against the fear. Let's try to do it. Broke a little bit too early. Let's try to prevent him from getting a good exit here. Bring the car as much as possible to the left. This time I'm gonna have a good exit. Wait, how? How did he get the same exit? He was on the inside before the exit. I don't know why. I just cannot carry speed out of this corner. Let's show up on his mirrors, make him make a mistake, and try to get the best exit possible and try a move on the next hairpin. All right, he locked up. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a good exit. Let's try something. This is it. We're getting some draft. We're gonna try to go to the inside, but he actually defends. So let's go on the outside, try to brake a little bit later, prevent him from getting a good exit. Prepare the best exit possible here. He's still on the inside. He used all the track on exit. Now I'm super close. I'm gonna get the draft. This is it. I can try something here. I know this is way too dangerous. I don't know. I'm gonna try something. Let's see if I can get the run. I'm gonna go to the inside here. But then as soon as I start turning in, he gives me just a little bit space and I end up hitting the curb there and I have to lift because if you go flat out on that curb, you can spin right away. I just did not make it work. Now trying to do something on the last few corners, getting the best exit possible, using all the outside here, going off track. But that was not it. It was just not it. I just missed out on one more podium again, just because, I don't know, just not aggressive enough. What could I have done different? I don't know. It is what it is. When racing in a Formula 4 car this weekend, I've had several opportunities to overtake my competitors or defend for a position more aggressively. Without being scared of doing so, I would have easily taken 2 podiums in the 2 races I've done. But I missed out and finished P4 on both, just because I backed off. It's useless to have a detailed understanding of racecraft if you decide to not use those skills when you need them the most. As soon as I jumped out of the car on the first race and watched the onboard, I just felt regret of not being more aggressive. Then I did the same mistakes again in the second race. It's just so easy to imagine how it should be done when you're outside of the car. But then you get in the car and things change completely. It takes work to create a more realistic prediction of how it would be when you are in the car driving at high speeds on the limit. And I think this is the athlete side of racing. And that has to be developed physically in real life with a kind of training that goes beyond sim racing. I believe that sim racing accounts for a huge amount of your talent to drive in real life, since car handling skills are a must. I have saved the car from crashing several times because of my sim racing experience, probably over 10 times over this year. So yeah, without the sim racing experience, I would have had over 100k in repair or hospital bills. I'll keep working on that side more and more to become the best driver I can be. I just started chatting with a performance coach to help me with the mental and physical side of it all, so we can fill in that gap. If I don't improve this weakest elo, I will never be a successful race car driver. So I leave this race weekend with this question: am I ever going to be a successful race car driver? If you're a sim racer and want to race in real life, start doing some karting. Start with indoors, then try to move towards some faster karts, maybe do some more close racing. Work out, eat well, sleep well, treat your body as you want your team to treat your car. This way, you will be able to match the car handling skills you can develop in sim racing with the extra layer you need to succeed in real life. And as always, here's my discount coupon for the best online sim racing course in the planet, the Motor Racing Checklist. Use YouTube20 for 20% off and get your money back if you don't like it. I'll see you in the next one.